Yeah, he's probably gonna come back with some fancy outfit. You know, hopefully he got him some good shoes. He went to Kohl's because our local Walmart was all we got. So um, I don't know how much better Kohl's is, but that's kind of where he went. Kohl's, Sears, the mall. You should be doing all right.
I used to
I don't.
always like going back to school shopping, like get new clothes and that. But
Yeah, I don't remember making it like a big deal. I would get like, you know, two or three outfit. Well, my birthday's at the end of the school year anyway, so I still got clothes left over from my birthday. Um, yeah, so
I had brothers and sisters and church friends and shit, so we always got hand me downs. I think the only thing we really went shopping for was new winter boots and like winter jackets. That was the big shopping trip for school.
I was, I was, yeah, I was in at the age of 11. I was a ward of the state, so um, I got a little bit of money every year to go school shopping. So they have a list that they'd give us and be like, okay, this is what you're allowed to get. Well, of course, I wasn't allowed to go by myself. I always had like a worker with me. But yeah, it was always fun because yeah, I had to get a certain amount of shirts, certain amount of pants, certain amount of shorts. I think it was like I don't think we really got shorts that much though until like near the end.
well, I would always have like one or two outfits that I thought were like gonna get me all the fucking girls. You know, like oh, I
Yeah,
got this. I'm gonna look cool, man. Yep. Usually got my best pair of shoes before school started. I think these kids these days wear like cheaper shoes and don't really give a shit, you know? At least the school he goes to.
Man, I remember getting my first Corvette shirt. I was like, I'm the coolest kid ever of all time. Look at my Corvette shirt. Didn't quite
Yeah.
go over as much as I'd hoped.
I'm, I remember in fifth grade, dude, I had all the jerseys. I had like Shaq jerseys out the ass. I had the USA team. I had the Orlando Magic. I had the reversible. Um, yeah, I was a big jersey guy back in the day.
I remember one year that one of the workers was just like she was into um, leather, and she got me to buy a pair of leather pants. That was the worst freaking thing I ever did.
That's crazy.
It's so freaking. Those are they don't breathe. Like my legs were sweating all the freaking time, man.
What did you, hey, Bleeker, do you remember Zubaz?
No, not really.
Zubaz wasn't a thing up in Canada.
No, I was more of a rocker, punk rock kind of guy myself.
Mhm.
Do you know what Zubaz looked like, Bleeker or TM?
Not exactly. No, are they
Oh
the
fuck,
big? Are they the big like elephant pants?
Kinda. They're like fucking zebra print.
Oh, geez, no.
Yeah, and you had your favorite sporting team, so it'd be like white, and if it was the Niners, it'd be black, red, and gold, and it'd be in zebra
Oh,
print.
yeah, I've seen them. I've seen like workout guys wear them once in a while.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
They're like thin sweatpants.
yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, yeah. People, dude, it was probably like third or second grade. That was the big one. British Knight. We used to wear British Knights.
Oh my God, the beat British Knights. Oh my God, I haven't
Oh,
heard that.
dude, those things last. If your mom got you a pair of British Knights, dude, you gotta be prepared for a pair of shoes that last like 2 years. They made them
Yeah,
so
you're like, God
comfortable.
dang, why the British Knights, mom?
Speaking of shoes, you guys ever get K Swiss shoes?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I love the K Swiss.
Listen, man, I was a Bullet brand kid when I was young. Go to Byway, you get the Bullets, and they were terrible. Worst shoe I've ever. When you went on the basketball court, you slid. It was freaking awful, bro.
Oh, dude, when I was real young, like first, second grade, it was Hush Puppies. I sent you a link, Steppo. Y'all remember Hush Puppies?
Yeah, I do remember Hush Puppies.
Okay. You snuck like a fucking penny in them.
Yeah, those were the penny loafers, man.
Yeah, you actually put a penny in these motherfuckers, bro.
Yeah,
Like
I remember them.
that was the cool gimmick to them. Hush Puppies.
There's a weird skinhead gang that used to do that in Toronto. Actually, they were like anti-skinheads. It was really weird. They looked like skinheads, but they hated skinheads. It was like a weird gang in Toronto that did that, and they were
That's a gang I could join.
they were called the Mods, I believe.
You guys also have to get 2 different shoes in school, one for regular wear, one for gym wear.
Oh yeah. You
Yeah.
can't wear your regular shoes on the gym floor. Huh? You can't do that.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't think we were worried about that too much because we just had sneakers anyway. I knew one kid had to come to fucking school, dude. I went to the poor elementary.
Yeah.
He wore like cleats on the basketball court.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like dude, we were poor, bro. Like, yeah. So he was fucking that court up with them cleats, dude. Like oversized.
I'm surprised that like anybody allowed him to do that. Like it's just like we're poor, but like let's destroy our gym anyway.
Yeah.
I was a basketball fool when I was a kid. I remember having to save up because my parents weren't going to buy me any real good shoes. And I saved up and I bought my first pair of red Nikes. They were red as red can be. I looked like bloody Ronald McDonald running around on the basketball court. Big ass red shoes. Ridiculous. But they worked real well.
Mm-hmm. Man. School is like a better time, even though we all hated it sometimes. It was still a good time, like when we did shit with our friends and stuff.
Yeah.
I would say my favorite school time was probably junior high. I probably had the best time in junior high.
Yeah.
High school, not so much.
High school was pretty fun for me. Wasn't easy, but it was fun.
I think I was living on a park bench in high school, so high school wasn't that great. High school sort of sucked.
I think middle school was a little tougher for me because I wasn't developed. You know, I was still like still had baby fat on me.
I don't know. I just had the most fun in middle school. Like it was just a lot better. Plus, like it was a school I went to because like I had to move schools quite a bit. Like I went to Elm Street Elementary for elementary school, which was a shitty school. And then since I moved, I had to go to a provincial school, which was like 6 kids because I was just going into a group home at the time. So they didn't want to put me in another school. And then I started going to Athena, and that was from grade 6 till 9. And yeah, I love that school. That school was my favorite. And then I had to move again. And so I went to a country school called King Cora High. And let me tell you, like there was like maybe 200 kids in that school. And like, yeah, it wasn't a fun school.
We had Sharps in Toronto too.
Hey, Tim, can you send Steppo a link? I don't know why it ain't working. You might have to send it to us. Are you able to?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, cool. I got to get the charger for my laptop. What was you saying, Bleeker? I mean, cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good, brother. You're good. I said, yeah, Darth, we had Sharps in Toronto as well. He's talking about a gang.
Yeah, we sometimes don't use the cams, Stepper. It's a no cam gang. He's right.
Yeah, the no cam. Here, there we go. Cam on.
Cam on. I'm like Iron Man.
That's great. Cam on.
Cam on. All right, I'm trying to I got both of my slots. These fucking Air Max, dude, they ain't built for fucking tools. You know what I mean? Like cameras or microphones. They just suck at that shit. You got to buy like converters, and there's only 2 slots, and they're not very fucking durable or safe to me because they're like cell phone slots.
Yeah, I hate that shit, man.
Yeah, I definitely miss my HD, but this one I can actually like hang out and play with my guests a little bit more. What up, Stepper?
Hi, Steffo.
Greetings, gentlemen. How are you? Thanks, TM. I was able to navigate through. It's sometimes with the interwebs and everything gets somewhat problematic. I mean, what can you do? So I got this, and you've seen these advertised, and so what you do is you put a coin on this thing.
Nice. Oh, the old.
It has three sounds, and then it goes the da da dun da da dun da 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 da. It's Godzilla. Everybody's doing Godzilla books and Godzilla merch and all that stuff, which is fine. I always liked Godzilla, as monsters go. But yeah, as far as school, it was that pain and pleasure where it was new and you got to see your friends. You talk about summer, but I was such a nerd. But in 1962, 63, getting your notebook, and then you got the little box, those little white reinforcement rings, and then you got the dividers for your 3-ring binder, and you had the little black pieces that would center everything for you. And then the first thing you did was you took those white reinforcers and you put them on the dividers, so that if through use it wouldn't the paper wouldn't tear out, because everything was three hole paper. And then getting a pencil box was a big deal back then, because you had these really slick plastic pencil boxes. You'd have like a sliding door; they would pop open, and you'd have your pens and pencils. And then each year we'd always have to get a compass, not a compass, a protractor, and the metal thing that has the pencil and a point.
I think it is called a compass, actually.
It is, okay. The compass, and you'd have all these, have all your tools, and then you have the plastic ruler that has 3 holes in it. You carry that in your notebook and stuff like that. And then I would set your, whatever your classes were, and there were different colored tabs. And then you'd put in the notebook paper in each section, and that way you kept. I loved keeping those things together as far as that goes. And then of course you had the obligatory peaches that you'd carry, that has the one with the sports and stuff like that. And the 2 ones that were the best was the 2 basketball players jumping up, and one guy had a hand like this, and everybody always would draw a knife where he's stabbing through the guy jumping up in front of him. That was always a good one. And then of course the girls playing tennis with their tennis shorts and stuff, they would also suffer tremendously. There would be horrible things drawn upon them. Every peachy, there would be, each guy had a different version of how this guy's going to take it in the chest. Sometimes the daggers were ornate. Sometimes it would be a spear. But the guy that was jumping up ahead of him, he died on every single peachy. And those things are great too, because you open them up, and then they had the multiplication table right there, and they had some other stuff, so sort of like for cheating, if you didn't know your multiplication tables. My father drilled us in 3rd and 4th grade that we had to go all the way up to 12, and my brother decided that just to one-up me, he went up to 14 with Dad, because he would quiz us like this, and if you didn't get it, why, then he would he would be patient for a while, but if you were slacking too much, then he'd drill you a little bit later on. He says, "Oh, we'll drill later when you feel like you want to do it." And then of course you go, "Oh, okay, let's go." But and then you meet your teachers, and who is your homeroom teacher? And then if you had math or music, of course PE was always wild. Our school, the first school I went to, had a beautiful grass backfield, and it also had the black top, and then it had stuff there. But it was a nice field and stuff that was there. Giant jungle gym, and I will tell on myself because even as a little kid, they'd always I see London, I see France, especially, and all the girls wore dresses. And so the girls were just, they climbed on the monkey bars and stuff like that. And when they would swing, you'd hope that the dress would go up. You could see underpants, see?
Oh my goodness.
But then I don't even know how I even came up with it. Just this shows you the level of my depravity. All these girls are up on the jungle gym, and they're all wearing dresses. So I said, wait a minute. So I lay down on the bottom underneath underneath the jungle gym, and I pull myself over, and I'm staring up at all these girls' underwear. And so a teacher walked by. He says, "What the hell's wrong with him?" And then the teacher clicked on what it was. Oh God, I got into so much trouble.
Wow.
I'm sure that my mother loved that the telephone call from the school on that one. "Your son Stephen is doing it." And of course Dad said, "Well done." No, he didn't. It just, but stuff like that.
That's funny because you reminded me, dude. Dude, we had a girls and boys side.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. We had the boys played on this side and the girls played on that side.
Oh no, the girls would hang with the girls and the boys would hang with the boys. That was the same with us too.
That's the way I remember it, yeah.
Icky girls. But even when I was 6 or 7, I figured out, I doped out that this was, so that would have been what, 1959. So I was 6. I figured that out. I don't even know how I figured that out. But a mother had forgotten that, and I said, "Mom," then I remember later on, I said, "Mom, do you remember that time that," she says, "I certainly do. I remember that phone call."
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, we would every now and then run across to the other side, but we weren't allowed. Yeah.
And also the girls would wear black patent leather shoes with a high shine. And some idiot in the administration thought that boys would look at the shoes because it would reflect up under their dresses. This is 1958, 1959. Then when in 1960 we moved up to the house that we had up in Portland Heights, because Dad wanted to have a house that had a view. The other house was in like sort of a Charlie Brown neighborhood, Eastmoreland. And when we got up there, we went to Ainsworth School. Ainsworth School was different. It was like about a 1911 or 1910 building, red brick, and the entire front field and back field were all black topped over. There was no grass anywhere. So when you were playing on blacktop, and of course Foursquare, whether you got to have double doozies or if you allowed, the guy that was serving could always make the rules no corners. In other words, these little crafty guys, when the ball would go in, and then they do this cheap little push the ball into the corner to take you out, to rotate you around, because there's 4. You beat the guy, then you move up until you serve, and then you get to call the rules. No corners, and so then no double doozies, things like that. You'd play all that stuff, and then of course kickball. And I had a good leg. As far as kicking, I was actually a punter and a place kicker for football, but I had a good leg on that stuff. So playing kickball, I wiped everybody out.
Oh yeah.
It was fun. And a dodgeball. Then in our gymnasium, which had a beautiful wood floor, and it was like a basketball court was the thing, and they had the pegboard where you were supposedly going to be able to pull yourself up, or the rope pull. I never could do that.
Hell no.
I never could do that shit. And then I always was thrilled if they did skins and shirts basketball. That was a real thrill for me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did
Gendry,
they,
you're on skins. No, I'm not.
I
You
know.
know,
Oh,
I'm not
that's how
taking,
I
I'm taking
was.
my
That's how
shirt
I
off.
was. Yeah.
did they get rid of the rope pool? Because like after elementary school, like I don't remember the rope pool at all.
You mean the rope climb? Rope climb.
Yeah, yeah, rope. I'm
No, we
sorry.
had that. No, we didn't have that in high. In high school, it was far more. You know, you actually picked whatever PE you wanted. You'd have PE, but it was pretty easy for softball. But I was playing football and tennis, so I was picking up all that jazz with that. But do you know the funny thing though, is that on in the gymnasium they this wooden polished wooden floor, and they had this presidential fitness thing when I was a kid, and there were very, very few kids who could climb a rope all the way up to the top to the ceiling. And God knows if you let go, you're going to fall a long way before you hit the ground. I mean,
Yeah.
it was now sit-ups and push-ups and things like that. It's what I climbed the rope, pulled it to the top, then I slid down, squeezing dry, rotted rope. Yeah, it was, and then they had the pegs. They had these wooden dowlings where you're supposed to be able to go up this pegboard. And I'm thinking, what the hell do you think we kids do? You think
Yeah,
are we lifting weights at home, or are we getting ready for our triathlon? I mean, what the hell? So
Yeah.
anyway, but
they're
they were,
trying to get
but
us to rock climb at a young age, I guess.
well, they want. I guess it's a life lesson. They're bringing that back. So now all the kids that are kind of doughy, like I was a doughy kid. I'm a doughy adult. It's the kind of things that you dread that stuff. You really
You're a
just
lot. Hold on, you're a lot less doughy of an adult than you used to be.
well,
So
no, I have less dough on me now. I do.
you've done very
Thank
well, Stephen.
well, thank you. But when you guys talk about school, all that stuff does come back. But you also find out how the teachers are. My first grade teacher was a doll. My second grade teacher was a doll, and I met a lot of friends I still have today. My third grade teacher was a big, big woman, and her name was Mrs. Wold, and she was it was Mrs. McBride. And Mrs. McBride was very, very large woman, and then she'd wear these summer dresses, and her armpits were eaten out of it. I mean, it was really awful. But she had an incredible arm on her. And so if you're in the back of the room and you're not paying attention, she's drawing something on the chalkboard, she could take that eraser and drill you right in the head. I mean, she was that good. She didn't miss either. That was third grade. You learn quick you learn real quick what you can get away with and what you can't. My fourth grade teacher was a Korean War colonel, and he if you were dinging off or dinging around and not paying attention, he had a hack paddle. He had like a fraternity hack paddle. And so, like, if you're spacing out, looking out the window, he would then creep up on you. All right. He'd creep up on you with the paddle, and all your friends, your quote unquote friends, if the room everybody could see what was coming, because he'd get up and big man, tall, big, burly guy. And he had always had like 5 o'clock shadow at 8 in the morning. At 9 o'clock in the morning, he had 5 o'clock shadow, either that heavy of a beard. And he would then creep over and he'd blast you in the butt with this hack paddle to keep you clued in. And so the thing was, and all of your friends, I say friends, no one said, look out, look out. No, everybody wanted to watch somebody else get zapped on the ass, okay? And so, but thank God for me, the one time, because I was very careful about that, but I also didn't sing out for anybody else either, because I wanted to see him get hit too. Mm-hmm. But I heard the keys in his pocket as he was creeping, sort of like the monster from Star Trek, those are the ancient ones, where Lurch is this guy with the big pads and stuff. Yes, the ancient ones. And he's creeping along like this. I could hear his car keys. And I wheeled around, and instead of everyone going, yay, he didn't get hit, they all went, oh, because they wanted to see somebody get blasted. So, I mean, the times were, and then we had this one time where we were studying Fahrenheit and centigrade. And so the way they did it was they would boil water, and then we put the thermometers in. You see this is centigrade, this is Fahrenheit, this is the same temperature, but a different scale and all this other stuff. Well, So he had he had a torch going. He had one of these portable torch things going, and he's hitting. This is in fourth grade. So he's putting this stuff in this, heating this thing up. And there was a leak, a gas leak at the where the thing screwed into the top of the gas chamber. And it basically, the gas leaked out and ignited on his
Oh my
arm.
God.
And so his arm went up like he went woof on fire. He dropped the torch and is pulling his coat off. His eyebrow, I mean, it flashed like that, and his eyebrow and eyelashes were gone. So then the thing's on fire on the wood floor, and then everyone's, so of course we're all screaming because he's trying to put the fire out on his arm, and the next thing you know, the custodian guy came in with a high pressure water hose. So he starts hosing this thing down with this hose, and then he lost control of the hose, and then the hose is whipping all around. We're under our desk like this, screaming. That was fourth grade, and that was also when President Kennedy was assassinated. I was in fourth grade, 63 to 64 was fourth grade. September of 63 into till June of 64 was fourth grade. So in November of 63 was when he got assassinated. And that was incredibly sobering. Everybody remembers, when the big things like this happened. Where were you when President Kennedy was shot? And then, of course, they rolled in a television. We were watching it, and everybody was completely freaked out. And then they said, okay, everybody, we're closing school. Everybody go home. And then, of course, it was, and then he died. And then they were looking for Ruby. And then Ruby got assassinated. Oswald got assassinated by Ruby, who was a hitman for the mob. He was dying of cancer, and he bumped him off so he couldn't talk. But all of this other stuff was going on. The fourth grade was really, it was quite a year for me. It was the highlight. And then one last, everybody has stories, but my fifth grade teacher hated my guts, and that was Gretchen Wold. She was a German. And I was a good kid, and she hated my guts. I did nothing wrong to her, and she just hated me. And I always had very high grades because I enjoyed the school, and but she hated me. So no matter what I did, it was always C's and D's. So I was really glad to get rid of her. My parents, she would call my parents and complain about me, and I wasn't even doing anything. When teachers do that kind of stuff, if they pick on you, or if they have an in for you, I don't know if they understand or if they give a damn how much that affects you. If you're trying to get along with your friends, you're trying to get along with everybody. You don't want to make yourself a target. You don't want to make yourself an object of ridicule because you're a little kid. You don't need that stuff. No one needs that stuff. So those are sort of, it's the highs and the lows, things like that. There is one other thing. There was one that was in the annex. They built this annex to Ainsworth School up the street, and I was there for the first year in the annex. So it was a brand new building, and but after in the fifth grade, I was in a portable by the main building, and in sixth grade, then we were back in the main building. But I made a paper airplane, standard form paper airplane with white school paper, which is pretty good because it has a nice finish on it. And if you make the things exactly right and put a paper clip near the front to hold the nose down, those can fly out quite a long time. So I just flew one out the window, and I couldn't look where it went. I said, well, I wonder how far it went. And then about 15 minutes later, the principal of the school walked into the room with my paper airplane, and he goes, and the class, of course, he looked to us to be like 7 feet tall. Glenn Noble was his name. 7 feet tall. The guy was a gigantic man.
He was really 7 foot?
I don't know. He was 6'4" or 6'5" anyway. He was a giant man.
We're
little munchkins. This guy's like towering. So he walks through the door. Everybody looks, because when the principal walks in, what is it? And he's got my airplane in his hand. And he goes, "Who threw this out the window?" And I'm an honest little kid. I said, "I did, Mr. Noble." And he looked at me and says, "You threw it out the window? Why would you do that?" He says, "Okay, you're going to have to come see me after school. You're going to have to do some stuff. You can't do that." I said, "Okay." So what he did, my punishment was, back then you had blackboards and chalk. And the erasers that they had were these high fiber, hard cardboardy fiber backs that you would hold. And then the soft part would then accumulate. You when you would erase the chalk off, it was these things would get filled with chalk and they wouldn't erase anymore. So they had a machine where it was like a plane that had a whirling disc. I mean, it had a whirling wheel that had blades on. I mean, it had a kind of like a sculpted blade thing. So what you're supposed to do with then the janitor says, "Okay, this is what you have to do." So this thing's turning at about 600-700 RPM. And you're supposed to take the eraser and you run it across this machine, where then it buzzes the fabric and knocks all the chalk out. And then they put them back in the classrooms. After that, I could have lost a hand, I could have lost fingers. I mean, and so I'm doing that for a while. And then what we would also do as a sign of they wanted us to do as well on the side yard there, where this is all cement and concrete and then brick. But you'd bang them on the red brick. You would take these and make these. You could make little patterns with these things. You pat on the wall and stuff. But I remember we had a grade school reunion and everybody was talking about it. But you were smart we were smart kids, because there were teachers that you could play with and have fun with. There were teachers that you could not do that with. And they'd get after you for stuff. If you didn't do it right, they'd come after you. They would let you have it. They wouldn't sit still for anything. And so everybody was smart enough to know that you don't lip off it. If there's a teacher that's strict, you don't lip off. If it's a teacher that is a little bit more easy, you can get away with a little bit. But we were sharp. We figured out pretty damn quick who you could play and who you couldn't play with. But school stuff, everybody has those memories. And in that fourth grade class, Peter Jacobson, the golfer, and Matt Groening was one of my classmates. I went to grade school.
You told me that, yeah.
I went to school with Matt. And the way that we took roll was just like the military. Everybody was numbered. My favorite number is 6. I was number 6. Matt Groening was number 10.
Huh.
I remember. Pete was number 13. So Peter Jacobson, the golfer, and then Matt Groening, and he was drawing the same kind of characters he did for The Simpsons and Akbar and Jeff, even back in 1963. It looks the same stuff. He wouldn't show you his stuff either. You had to be a good friend of his before he would show you some of that stuff. His father was Homer Groening, and he was a very famous filmographer. But his fame was not enormous, and he was really a very creative guy, Homer Groening. And we'd go over and play at Matt's house and stuff like that, and Homer would come back, and I think he did film work or photography work for news stations and stuff. He would film, and the film would come in, and they would get it on the show or whatever was going on. But he had independent film type stuff, very creative stuff. And Matt was drawing this stuff, and I can imagine how Homer felt about Matt's unbelievable success with The Simpsons.
Oh my goodness!
As far as here he draws those goofy little people that he would draw, but Matt was clever. He was in my high school as well, and he would have this thing. He had a black crayon. He had black crayons, and we had this tile all over the building of Lincoln High School. And he would put the mad crayon, in other words, who is the mad crayon, So we'd find the mad crayon all over everywhere, and they're saying, the teachers, who is the mad crayon? And we all knew it was Matt. No one would say anything. I think they knew it was Matt too, but it was cute, fun stuff like that went on. But there are all manner of stuff. I remember the swing set in the front yard of Ainsworth, that if you've ever been on a swing, it's one of those heavy chain ones that has the big black rubber thing, the really institutional black rubber thing that
At the bottom?
Yeah, right at the bottom, and you sit on that. But anyway, so you're
Okay,
going
yeah.
and you're going back and forth, and then you reach the point where you can bail out of the swing, which we had
Yep.
always would do that, and we did Geronimo or bombs away over Tokyo is what
Yep.
we said. So I made one too many approaches, and I when I went back, and then I flipped out. I was right on the edge of the seat. I fell off, and I fell with my arm underneath me,
Oh.
and my head smacked the cement.
Oh.
And I broke my arm right away, um, and then I bit through my lower lip with my lower teeth. I bit through my lip, and I'm
Holy
bleeding
shit.
like crazy right here. And so my arm hurt, but I did. It wasn't like I wasn't concerned about the arm as much as I was bleeding all over my clothes. And of course, my parents are out of town at a hotel convention. So I come home to the babysitter, and and here I am, I'm a bloody mess and what have you. She cleaned me up and what have you. Before dad and mom left, they always would leave us with a little toy when they're gone for a weekend, And so it was a strong rubber band with a stick, and it had a red plastic hook that came down to a wing, it like this. And so when you pull the thing down and you let it go, it would go up straight and then would come down like a helicopter.
Okay.
Okay, so that was their guilt toy that they left for me. My guilt toy was that toy, Skycopter, I think they called it. So I'm pulling this thing with my right arm. I'm pulling this thing. It hurts, but I'm pulling it and I'm playing with it anyway. I got a busted arm, and my mom and dad come home, and here dad takes one look at my arm. He says, "My God, Stephen, your arm's broken." I said, I said, "It is?" He says, look, and it's all black and blue and terrible, And I just thought I just banged it on I
Oh
banged
my
it on
gosh.
And so dad took me to the doctor. And of course, this is my dad. He says, "Boy, if your arm was broken, I sure hope they won't have to re-break it." I mean, going, re-break my
Yeah.
arm?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Dad? He says, "Well, it has to be set properly." So we went into the doctor right away, and they x-rayed my arm. And the doctor says, "Yep, the arm's broken." He said, "Who set the arm?" And Dad said, "I'm sorry, what?" He says, "Who set his arm?" And Dad looked at me. He says, "Did anybody touch your arm?" I said, "No, I was just playing with that toy." What I did was I
Oh my
set my own
gosh.
arm by playing with the guilt toy that they left me with.
Oh my gosh.
So then they put a big heavy duty plaster of Paris cast all the way up to the top of my arm. And on the schoolyard, he always would sign the cast. Everybody, he says, "Sign my cast, sign my cast." And these kids, I was a fat little kid. I was a heavy little kid. And this one of the upperclassmen, I think it was a sixth or seventh grader, he gave me crap about it. And he says, "Hey, Tubby." And I said, "Don't say that. All right." He says, "Hey, yeah, what are you going to do about it, Tubby?" So I took the cast and I forearmed. I mean, I'm in fourth grade. I give him a forearm shiver and I pin his head up against the brick. And he was kind of a wimpy guy, and I'm heavier than him, and I'm bigger and I'm stronger than him. And I have him pinned against the wall right under the neck with my cast. I said, "Call me that again, I'm going to thump you." And he understood my he understood what I meant. And I looked at my cast and said, "God, I like this cast." It's pretty good, Of
Yeah, you
course.
better
But
watch it. I'm
anyway,
gonna put on some lipstick and fuck you.
well, perhaps at that juncture, I didn't take it that way. That didn't take it quite that far, but I made the point, and it's true about bullies. You got to confront them, otherwise you'll
Yeah,
be a victim. You have to confront them.
Yeah.
yeah, they'll continue to do it until you do.
Mm-hmm.
Share your story about your never healed right head injury, if you don't mind. What happened to you?
You talking to me?
Yeah, you said it in the chat. Like,
Oh yeah, there was like this little thing. I was in grade 1, and there's this like ice kind of thing. It kind of looked like a half pipe. In the schoolyard, and the bell rang, and I was like, I'm gonna get one more slide in. I slid, flew up in the air, and cracked my head. And
Oh
and
God.
I only remember my mom like telling the story later on and stuff like apparently they didn't want to, like, the Mr. Dudley was my principal at the time. And he, like, I was like falling asleep on my desk when my mom came and picked me up, and that, and Mr. Dudley called my mom, told her that, like, yeah, I had a fall and stuff, but I'm fine. I'm fine. She came into school anyway to get me. Like, he said, you don't need to. She came and got me, brought me to the hospital. They ended up keeping me there for a week because I had a concussion
Jesus.
and that. So yeah, they got rid of that ice thing. It kind of sucks. I'm the reason why it got removed,
Well,
but
that was no. If it was that dangerous, it shouldn't have been there in the first place. TM.
I don't even like talking about my. I had a pretty bad head injury, but I'll tell y'all my my school. This is pitiful. You guys ain't gonna believe this. So I was waiting to get on the school bus. I was probably a first grader, little baby, innocent little biggie shack, you know. And this kid, I was sitting at the table, waiting my turn, hanging out with my friends, having fun. He takes my backpack and throws it across the gym. Right? I'm like, teacher, I need help. They threw my book bag, and teacher ignores me. Then don't listen to me at all. So I had to get up and go get. I didn't want to do it, you know. I had to go get my book bag. So I go get my book bag. The kid takes my seat. So I beat his little ass, and I take my seat back, and that's all the teacher saw. So she came and she smacked me across the face. Yeah. So I've never liked teachers after that too much. That was early. My mom went and talked to him about it. She got suspended with a month without pay. But I got older and I met her kids and I beat the shit out of them too. So
yeah, elementary school, man, teachers were not my favorite and stuff. I was a pretty rowdy kid and stuff, but yeah, like they did not like me and I did not like them. It wasn't until that's probably why I liked middle school the best, because the teachers were just the best. They took the time with you, they understood you, and that they talked with you instead of just scowling at you. So like that's why I think that's why I really liked middle school the best.
I remember those. I don't know if y'all remember them, but they were like antennas, and you pull them, and they had the mirror on the bottom, and you angle them right under the girl's dress. That's what I was thinking of when Steppo was talking. I think you get them in comic books. Actually, it's like you pull the antenna out. It's got a little mirror at the bottom.
Yes. I never had one of those. I had a spy telescope. I had one of the secret agent spy telescopes, which was, I still have it. It's a plastic thing and a lens, and you can adjust it slid in and out. And if you pulled it all the way out, the inner tube was cut at an angle, so you could use it as a microscope as well. If you had the light where the slice sideways, you could use it as a microscope.
You didn't need a mirror, Steffo. You were busy laying down, just looking.
Well, the thing is that these guys are trying all these secret ways to look under the girls' dresses, and I don't even know what. I mean, I'm brilliant. I mean, let's face it. It was a brilliant ploy. Oh my God, my mother. It was so funny. But I also had some guys had the X-ray specs. And you knew instantly those things it was total cheese. It doesn't work. But the girls didn't know that. So you're looking at them like this with the X-ray specs going, oh, yeah, and they're going, ah.
Got you.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, school's something, man. So, TM and Bleecker, did y'all have sides, or were you able to be around girls on recess?
Yeah, we were able to be around girls.
Yeah, we were able to be around girls. They usually girls played with girls and boys played with boys.
Maybe that's why I'm picturing it that
Yeah,
way.
there definitely was a period of time where you're just like, what are you doing hanging out with a girl?
Yeah,
Yeah,
girls were
definitely.
icky until they weren't.
Yeah, there definitely was a period in time where, like, if you were hanging out with a girl, you were like, that was weird, dude. Why are you hanging out with in the girls' part?
Yeah.
Well, I like
Very
Mary
good
Sue.
girl.
She seems nice. She's got G.I. Joes. What's wrong with Mary Sue? She's all right.
We did the whole Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing. So the school I went to, I was the lower race. Let's put it that way. And so I got to be Casey Jones, and everybody else was Turtles and Shredder and Splinter. And we would just beat the hell out of each other all recess, like, oh yeah, yeah, doing Teenage Mutant. That was a couple of years of my life. That was fun.
We had troubles with the Man from Uncle was on at that time. And they'd always have this where they would use a karate chop on the back of the neck, and they go like that, and the guy would go down, and they knock him out and stuff. So what would we do? We were karate chopping. All of us were karate chopping everybody, and then if the guy didn't go down, then you'd hit him harder and stuff, and then it would be like that. But the other thing that they had was they had this, with the Man from Uncle again, is that they had some of the other moves and stuff that they would do would be incorporated into it. And in those days, it was blue jeans and T-shirts and/or Madras shirts. You'd wear a Madras shirt, and it had a loop in the back of right between the shoulders up at the top, so you could hang the shirt on a hook. And so, but what everybody would do then is they called them ferry hooks. If you had a ferry hook, people would come in behind you and they'd yank it right down and just tear the back of your shirt out. I went to a tough school, I'll tell you.
The Man Who Said Uncle is that? I've seen comic books of it, but I never.
The man from Uncle.
The Man from Uncle. Not the Man Who Said Uncle. It's Napoleon Solo and Elia Kuryakin. With Mr. Waverly was Leo G. Carroll, and of course
they were books kind of like these. They were the old.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
They actually did a video from the man from Uncle with Henry Cavill plays the man from Uncle, I believe.
Yeah. Who played Elia with him?
I can't remember. I barely remember the movie because I wasn't really. It didn't really do much for me, sadly.
I know the movie. I didn't watch it.
I watched a bit of it and I was like, it's okay. It wasn't really like, I don't know. I guess I've seen so many spy movies and things like that. I'm just like, it's just another spy.
Well, the Avengers, I remember when the Avengers came. And then I said, great, we're going to have the Avengers. And then it's a guy with a derby and Mrs. Peel.
Oh, yes.
There's a guy in a Speed 6.
I remember that.
With a sword cane. And you got Mrs. Peel in a leather cat suit driving a Lotus Elan. Mm-hmm. Oh my God! I got over my disappointment rapidly because I love the Avengers. I enjoyed watching the show a lot.
It was a fun movie. It was a fun movie. It was all right. It was pretty good.
Well, the TV show, the movie was actually with Sean Connery and all that stuff was pretty good. And Eddie Izzard is one of his henchmen. I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So, Stepo, I looked it up, and Elia was played by Armie Hammer.
I don't know if I know him.
He was in the remake movie with Johnny Depp. What was that movie? The Lone Ranger?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, he did that with Johnny Depp, where Johnny Depp played Tonto.
Tonto,
sorry.
Toto went to the Wizard of Oz with Dorothy.
I'm gonna reserve judgment on these ones. Good.
It's cool stuff. By the way, guys, if you look at my post today, because you're talking about school and all that stuff, I found a picture of me at 3 years old, and my Christmas was a Western Christmas, and Mother bought me a 2-gun holster rig, leather holsters with cap pistols, a Stetson, and boots, cowboy boots. And so she took a picture of me, and this was 1956, Christmas 1956, and all of the westerns that were on, Maverick and Cheyenne and Bat Masterson and Rifleman and all these other great westerns we had. Everybody had guns: Paladin, Bat Masterson, Colt 45, Bronco Lane, Sugarfoot. You name. We had a Bonanza. We had them High Chaparral. We had so many westerns that were good, and everybody is heavily armed.
Biggie, make me big for a second, buddy.
Yeah, sure. I was about ready looking for the picture. Oh, this is young Bleeker. Look at that.
That's me with my sheriff's badge and my sheriff's gun there, Steppo. That was also a Christmas for myself.
Very cool.
So we definitely have something in common. We both had a Western Christmas at one point in time.
Oh yeah, well it was out. The thing we had. So what I did was I used all my guns up. I basically used. That's a cool picture.
That's my big brother, by the way.
That is nice. But I used up all my guns. But now I have. That's it.
Ah, look at me.
I told my mom later on when I found it. I said I'm so thankful I actually put on my shirt and underwear before I put all my cowboy stuff on before she shot the picture. But all the guns that I had were mostly Mattels. Mattel was numero uno. Everybody had BB guns too. That's different. We didn't have BB gun wars, but the Mattel cap guns, the Fanner 50s and stuff, and they were cooler because they used perforated roll caps, which the rolls of caps had a hole between each charge of fulminated mercury. And so if you look at the Fanner 50s, they have nibs all the way around the feed mechanism. So you'd roll the caps over this wheel, and as you would fire it, the holes would cycle the caps up. So almost without exception, each time you pulled the trigger, you got a bang out of it. And then you had to know how to kind of unroll them a little bit and loosen them up a little bit so that they would feed correctly.
The paper rolls, Steppo, you're talking about?
Yeah, paper roll caps.
I haven't seen those in a really long, since I was a little kid. It's been a long time.
So when eBay first started, the first thing I did was I basically bought a whole bunch of the guns that I had as a little kid, and some that I never had. The Marks Thunderer, the Thunder gun was different. The Thunder gun was a bigger gun, and it had caps that instead of having just one roll with one dot of fulminate of mercury, it had two dots. The caps were double wide. They called them Thunder caps. So when you'd fire that baby, you were getting a double charge each time you fired it. And a buddy of mine had one. I never had that.
Damn.
Yeah, I think they make them. Eventually, they started making sort of those round. It was like
the Wasps
Yeah.
pistols. And what we would do is the original Wasps that had the plastic ring that had the caps in them.
Yeah.
Those suckers, the very first incarnation was ungodly loud. And of course, what do? You have to figure a way to hurt someone. So
of course.
you drill the bore because they had a cross piece in the middle of the bore of the barrel.
Yeah.
So that when you fired it, the flame came flying out. I mean, the flame would go out about 7 or 8 inches.
Awesome.
You get close to someone near the ear, and you let that thing go, and the fire comes out and hits them in the shoulder. We were tough kids. We were tough.
Wow. I know as like kindergartner or first grader, all I wanted was cowboy boots because I just thought they were cool. I don't even remember watching many westerns or anything, but I wanted cowboy boots.
Remember now, when I grew up in 57, 8, 9, 61, 2, 3, all of it was wall to wall westerns, prime time, all the Lawman, all these shows were just one after another. Tales of Wells Fargo. Wanted Dead or Alive with Steve McQueen. All these shows were really Texas Ranger.
Yeah, I definitely always wanted cowboy boots, even up until, because some of my heroes were rock stars. Like all the cool rock stars wore awesome cowboy boots.
So, but then the other thing we had was because we were so close to World War II, TV shows like Combat and a lot of Garrison's Guerrillas, the Rat Patrol, and a lot of these other shows we had, World War II shows. Then we would also get automatic cap guns like the Mattel. They had that one. If you look at my post today, you wind the thing up, and it was metal on the bottom and plastic on the top.
Yeah.
And you would release that, and you could put the caps were 50 roll caps. You got 50 shots per roll. And so then you'd feed that, and that was also a Mattel gun and had the nibs on the roller. And you could just push the button and go through 50 caps like really quick,
Wow.
like that. And then of course the Thompson that they had that looked like a Thompson, that had the where the magazine was is where you put the caps, and you could fire single shot semi-automatically, or you could pull the bolt back and then
All that-
fire the full,
all
you know,
that
full.
stuff, all that stuff got outlawed. Not when I was a kid. It was still around when I was a kid, but by the time I think my like little sisters were growing up, all that stuff was not allowed. And if it even looked remotely like a gun, you had to have an orange tip on the front of it.
Yeah, and
they
they
really changed cap guns quite
Yeah,
a bit
cap
from
guns-
when you were a kid.
But you know, there are even shows where they show a kid with a cap gun coming up to a cop and they pull the gun out and they say, "Stick 'em up," and the cop would laugh and everything and pat the kid on the head. Now you do that with a cop and you end up dead.
Wow, yeah, that's it's just guns are no joke.
Yeah, I remember my childhood. It was like the beginning of that. There was certain squirt guns and cap guns you just couldn't get anymore, but it wasn't that
Yeah.
long before.
Yeah, squirt guns were a big one too. They changed them all to fancy colors. You couldn't get like a squirt gun that looked like a black squirt gun or anything.
Well, a black Luger with the red rubber tip. Those Parker was the name of the company that made those. Knickerbocker. Knickerbocker made the Lugers, and those were great. Some of the other ones had smaller water capacity, like the Green Avenger. That was it hold it in your palm, and the actual plunger mechanism to squirt went into the back of your hand, and you just pull it like this. And I actually no, I don't have one here, but anyway, in Ouija's, these little teeny ones, those things could shoot 25 feet.
It's nothing like the Super Soaker that came out eventually.
Oh no! Well, then of course, with
Oh
the
my
Super
God.
Soakers you get now, I mean, it's not even close.
No, they went like when I was a kid. You know, you squirt your squirt gun and you get a squirt, and it's fine, and it hits the person, and they go, "Oh my goodness!" Like you just load up one of them new squirt guns. It's crazy. It's pretty
They just drill you.
yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, you win.
I don't know if y'all remember like the dipstick ones that were just a thing you pull from the back and it's like a syringe kind of, but bigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a different link, Hudat. Can you send Hudat a link at TM?
Yeah. I will when I'm done fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I had one and it came with Nerf guns, Nerf balls, and it's called the Splurge. And you're talking about getting wet, dude. That thing, holy smokes!
I always really liked the plunger dart guns too. Like the sound it made when you loaded the dart that had the real big plastic end on it with the plunger. Like now you think about it, like, wow, those things really could have hurt somebody, but they were fun. They were fun to shoot, man.
Well, lawn darts was always a lot of fun for us.
Lawn darts was a fun game. I don't know what happened. Some poor kid, I'm guessing, but like lawn darts was a pretty fun game.
I mean, whoever thought that kids could get away for that with kids is beyond me, man. I mean, because the minute I saw those things, I said, "Oh boy, there's a problem there."
Well, the first thing a kid's gonna do is, okay, everybody stand in a circle. We're gonna throw this up in the air and see
how close we can get to you. That was really close. It went through
Right?
my foot.
Everybody run, okay?
Yeah, toys are great though. Toys are great collectibles. They just take up way too much room.
Tell me about it. I know you know.
Yeah,
Oh, my
it's so
goodness.
true. I had to stop collecting Star Wars toys because like I literally can't. I have boxes of stuff that I don't even have up. I'm just like I can't collect stuff that I can't. What am I gonna put it in a box in a basement somewhere for years and years and years? It's ridiculous.
That's what I did. I have all manner of 50s toys, and I have a lot of 30s and 40s toys that are all wrapped and in a comic long box, basically, sitting under my stair. I mean, they're all there. And when I would buy these toys, but the toys that I really have embraced totally, among others, that I'm afflicted with this collecting thing, as you guys imagine, is my I have a beautiful set of die-cast cars. If you If corgi cars, dinky toys, some matchboxes,
They
and
are
stuff
so
like that.
popular.
I just love those things.
They're so popular, Steven. They were when I worked at Value Village, it was always the first thing to go off the shelf were those
Oh, is
backpacks.
that so?
Yeah, they sell immediately, and it's always to somebody my age or a little older, and they sell really well for some reason. People love that stuff.
I remember Matchbox toys were 1/64th scale, and they said Matchbox because they pretty much would fit into a little bit bigger the size of a matchbox.
Yeah,
And they were scale. Lesney was
I
the
think
was
you're
the
that. Sorry. Sent your link to that.
I didn't know that either. Who that?
I just didn't want to not think you got one because last night we kind of didn't get them on.
Apparently, Super Soaker was invented by a black American.
Oh, so I see. That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
Neither did I.
Yeah,
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to squirt me with that little pistol? Hey, I got something for you. Ah!
Yeah, the guy he went on to work at NASA. The guy that made Super Soakers.
That's interesting.
Rad. I love McFarlane toys too, but man, their whole the base and the stands they're really crappy. Like they really break really easy. He's really got to do something about the quality of the base and the stands and the footing of his characters.
How did my? I had a. Oh, okay, here we go.
But for the most part, I actually really love Todd McFarlane's toys.
Yeah, I love his DC figures.
Okay.
We didn't have like scale toys like that before he came around. We didn't have toys that looked like the character. They sort of looked like the character.
And that's
Somebody-
the reason why he started it. He's just like, hey, like I don't like the way that they're making my toys, so you know what? I'm just gonna do it myself. That's how it started.
My kid gets these 3D printed animals, so this is like a cobra.
Jeez. 3D printed.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
3D printing is awesome, man.
And I got my kid a whole tub full of gemstones.
Love
to play
that.
with.
Love those roughs. That's so much fun to look at. It's a
Yeah.
great thing. You should turn them on to the Metal Men because I enjoyed the Metal Men because they always would tell you how the metals would work, how they would melt, which were the best ones, stuff like that.
Yeah, I love these rocks too. I used to have them as a kid.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey guys.
And then I grew up with the California raisins.
Nice.
Always saw those.
Drake.
We used to have Transformers that were tiny, teeny,
God, do you
tiny.
remember that fad though? The California Raisins was like the cartoon. The music was everywhere. It was ridiculous.
Toys were everywhere too, yeah, man. Like it was crazy.
This is a battle beast. It's missing this little rub right here on its chest. I got more of them. It's just the closest one, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, just cool little guys. Here's a this is my favorite rock. It's called
Thunder Egg?
what are these called?
Thunder Egg.
No, it's
Agate?
a style. Agate. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Steppo. Yeah, agate's my favorite because it don't chip up. It's pretty
Yes.
solid.
Did you guys ever do marbles? Did you ever have agate
Yeah.
marbles?
My mom
Yeah.
loved marbles. Actually, I gave all my marbles to my mom when I.
You've lost your marbles.
Yeah, basically.
I've known it for a long time. I'm awfully sorry, my friend.
I'm like that poor bugger from Peter Pan. I just can't find my marbles.
A buddy and I went down to an antique and collectible show years and years ago, and there was a guy that was there selling marbles, and not the from the 60s. The marbles were manufactured by machines, but a lot of the earlier marbles were handmade.
Yeah.
And you could always tell because when they would come off of the end of the stick that they would be made, there would be a slight imperfection where they basically cut it and they didn't smooth it very much.
Yeah.
But agates and American flags and cat's eyes and some of these others. Well, this guy had dollar marbles, 50-cent marbles, 25-cent marbles, and then potpourri. And so I went up and the guy, and they were in these cookie tins. And I said, how much for all of them? And the guy came up with a price that was, a few $100, which was about $700 or $800 worth of marbles. But no one had asked him, for a full price, so he just made some money, and then we got them all. So then my buddy and I spent the entire afternoon of these antique vintage marbles, and we would then divided them through this laborious process where our collections looked virtually identical because we would always pick the next best one and on and on and on and on through all afternoon. I've got them in a mason jar. I'll show you.
Oh, geez.
I remember they had all kinds of special ones. They had like the cat's eyes, and then they had like ones that were speckly, and then they had some that were just solid color. Some were cloudy and milky. Some were like crazy looking.
I played marbles when I was a kid. I loved marbles.
Mhm.
Marbles,
Yeah,
people played with marbles a lot more in the old days where they would have a ring on the street. And the thing is that if you hit the marble and you won, you got the marble. I mean, unless you set up a thing. But the shooter marbles, which were larger, generally were agates, because like Biggie said, they don't chip. They don't chip as like as much as like the ceramics when you have an actual stone. But here are if you want to make me big, Biggie, I'll show.
Absolutely.
Look at that jar.
Yeah, we called them thumpers. We called them all types of different names.
Yeah, you've got all the different kinds in there.
The watermelon and all these other
I
ones.
remember we would play for certain ones. Like certain ones were harder to find than others, and we would play each other for them. Like the giant ones, yeah.
Cat's Eye Boulder is what that is.
That's what we would play for.
Yeah, those are cool.
Beautiful.
Stepper.
Now you see, this is not like the cat's eyes you get now, where you get the bag. The way that they would inject the colors into this thing, they're cooler. I mean, as far as that goes, then you'd have a lot of these, like for example, this is an agate, but it has part of the agate was, where it has a certain level of imperfection to it, which I think is part of its charm. I like here's another,
Sure, yeah.
here's another cat's eye.
Wow.
We used to have pots, basically. We would there'd be we'd start at one end, there'd be a hole or whatever, usually like a root system for a tree or something, and then we would have to get the marble into the pot. So we wouldn't be hitting marbles against each other, but we would be flicking them. So we'd throw the first one, you get to throw, and then you have to flick from then on, and who gets into the pot first.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty cool game when I was a little kid.
Yeah, you can do a lot with marbles.
Some of the pots were real intricate. Like there were bridges and like passages to get there. Like it was, we really played. It was weird.
I like the glass jar too.
My buddy had these. Is a collector too, and so he had. I said, God, he says, listen, when I come over, I'll bring a mason jar. I've got a 1940s mason jar. I'll bring with so that you'll have something to put them into, so you can put them on display. These live down in my downstairs TV cave. I don't get down there enough. I really don't. I'm more in the kitchen. There's this black one, which is a black onyx that was hand painted. Like it's sort of like an oriental motif. Just a really fancy one. And then upstairs I have, some other time I'll show you, but I went to another antique show where this woman had a couple of boxes of marbles. And these are really like from the teens. And they are and actually clay marbles is another thing. They made them out of clay as well. But she had these all marked like $10, $15, $25 a piece kind of things, very expensive. And I was looking at them and she says, are you interested? And I said, so I was going to say my thing. I said, how much for the whole thing? And I figured there was somewhere between $2,500 or so worth of marbles, because they were really the antique kinds. She had a really nice stand. And so I said, well, I said 25, she says, I said, how much are they? She says, they're about $2,500 worth here. I'll go like 1950. And I said, okay, well, thank you. I'll think about it. So I said, well, I can't swing that.
$3,000 for some fucking marbles.
Holy
Yeah.
cow!
Well, but if you go look and see what
Money,
they were, they're the ones
Hard
you
to
want.
find.
And so she had the nicest one she had was in a Godiva chocolate box. And they were all in the little individual pockets, and they would have them separated by style and expense, size, and desirability. So I was looking for other. I didn't buy anything, and I had some money on me. I had about I think I had $1,000 on me because I was looking for any number of different things back then. And as I'm comics actually, because I wanted to see if there were any comic books there, and of course there wasn't a single comic book vendor, or someone had I got some comics and with some beat up 20 centers, those spine rolls and stuff. He says, hey, they're right over there. I said, they sure are. Anyway, I'm walking out the door, and this lady flagged me. She said, wait a minute. And I said, yeah. She says, are you still interested in marbles? I said, well, I can't swing that. She says, how much would you pay me? I said, I'll pay you $900. And she said, sold. So I have those upstairs. I'll break them out sometime and show you. But these are American flags, and I mean all kinds of really. Wow. But this one was all of these marbles are handmade marbles, and they were all made in the 40s and the 50s is when they were made. And so they're actually very, very nice. They're really cool marbles.
Yeah, I like those a lot. I like the agate and the onyx. Those are cool as hell.
So and basically that is the extent of my marble collection. I wanted a taste because I understand them. I understand it, but it's like you see in comic books, you guys, you see it all the time in the 50s and the 40s. They had these kids playing marbles and Superman playing marbles and all that other jazz.
So when they did the Stretch Armstrong, like one of these guys, right, where you could stretch them and shit, they got Stretch Armstrong, okay? There was another one that was called like Stretch Serpent, and it had this weird snake face, and you pull it, and it goes about 3 feet and comes together. Well, I think it sells for like $20K now.
Jesus.
Yeah, I guess I could show y'all, but anyways, I don't know if y'all knew about that, but there's around the time there's like rare stretch guys. So Stretch Armstrong is pretty common.
I had the turtles. I had a few. I think I had Donatello.
Here, let's
I
look
had every Ninja Turtle at one time, but
I never
lost
had
them.
Stretch Armstrong. But I know the snake you're talking about though. But I've never.
Yeah, he's uglier than hell. Like I seen it on.
A guy I used to work for collected toys, and he had a one of them storage buildings, just full of just toys. And he had like the very first Rock'em Sock'em. I think he said that was the most valuable toy he had.
Nice.
So this is what the serpent looks like. This is like a $20,000 toy if you ever find it. By the way,
the stretch stuff doesn't. The problem with that, I think it gets brittle after a while. Like I don't know how. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to stretch the toy now. If you stretched a Stretch Armstrong, I think it would just break.
Maybe.
It would be Pieces Armstrong.
Yeah,
probably.
Definitely.
I mean, they had Incredible Hulk and
those things would snap, and man, little kids would get hurt. Them things.
But this guy right here, like, could you imagine running across it? You probably just want it because it looks weird, but you would have no idea unless you knew. Like, this is a very expensive collectible. Like, you can get a fucking AF-15 for this thing. It's crazy.
I had a He-Man toy that had the same stretch sort of material, and the guy bought it off me already. But it's if you touch that stuff now, it just like fell apart. Basically, it was real bad.
Damn, that's old school. Stepper.
Satan.
Is that from your high school?
Yeah, the Franklin. It's Jim Patton autographed model, and Jim Patton's name is on the side here. This one was from about 1960. Pictures of me in the hallway wearing my football helmet. It's that it's late 50s, early 60s because there's a face guard, because the early helmets didn't have that, but this one did, and it's actually a pretty nice helmet. Inside, it's got a nice suspension system, and it has the pads by the ear holes. because
I could
someone would
try
fit
to-
down here. Because if you get hit, you got a pad right here to hold it. It's hard as hell now. I mean, it's not. But this one I've had.
with one of them leather bad boys, one of them leather caps with the little ear flaps.
Yeah, I mean that's when football was football. Well,
That was when
Franklin is
football was for men.
Franklin is a good name for sporting stuff, and this is a toy helmet, but it's actually a toy helmet that's it's a pretty substantial thing, and it's if you got hit in the head with this with another helmet or something, you wouldn't get hurt. There was a chin strap. I don't know whatever happened to the chin strap. I don't have that, but this thing, you have some toys that survive your childhood, which is kind of fun stuff. But again, grade school kind of stuff, as far as that goes.
So here's the Sin City book I got, TM. I don't have the first appearance, but I got the
Signed by someone?
Yeah, it looks like Magnolia.
Yeah.
I don't have enough Sin City books. I love Sin City, and I think I have 2 or 3 Sin City books. I really should get more. Now that I think.
They're not expensive.
No, and they're awesome. The stories are good. The art's good.
Yeah.
I bought
Anna
the
Frank Miller, so.
because I'm in Portland and Dark Horse is just right around the corner from us. We have Dark Horse product quite a bit here, and here a while back I put together a run of Dark Horse Presents from #1 up to I think all the way to the end. I have a whole bunch of the special 25th anniversary and a lot of the other ones, a lot of that kind of stuff here. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of long boxes up behind me, behind the pictures up at the top, because I don't generally go through them that much. But I also liked Trekker. Ron Randall did that character Trekker as the female bounty hunter. It's a good character.
Oh, I thought Trekker. Oh, I'm thinking of Trencher.
No, I remember Trekker.
Trekker, right. Wasn't the first Dark Horse like a weird character like the Ray or something? I forget.
No, the first Dark Horse Presents was Black Cross.
Black Cross.
And on the back cover, it's a double cover. There is Black Cross by Chris, and on the back is Paul Chadwick's Concrete.
Yeah, that's the first Concrete. That's why I looked that book up, right?
I want to get all of these. There's like 9, and they all connect into one big picture. But it's whatever universe that's from. I forgot. Hold on, I'll show you.
Are they? Is it whatchamacallit? Is it a variant or is it just a cover A, right?
It's cover A. It was like it's like the #1 issue of all the books that came out that month.
I might have a Rune book or 2.
I only have one Johnny Lightning. I have a supercar. Lightning. I have a Lightning car from Britain that is supercar that looks like the one from the cartoon. That's the only Johnny Lightning, and that was up against Hot Wheels, and they just couldn't beat Hot Wheels.
This was the book, but like the back covers the connecting cover.
Okay, I see.
And it shows it. Is it on this side? It's on this side.
Is that or is that? Oh, it's Room. My fault. Never mind.
What's the name of the book then? That is the actual book.
It says in here. It's in each of the 11 October Ultraverse titles includes an installment of Barry Windsor Smith's and Chris Ulm's Rune. So each title.
You hurt your hand. Did you bark your knuckle?
Yeah, I did. Working on the truck.
God, I hate that.
But yeah. So they all contain. So like, there's an issue of Rune in here in the back. It's like a flip book.
Okay. Oh. But the main title is that there.
But the main title is this. Yeah. But it all comes from Ultraverse. So there's 11. And then there's all the 11, and I have that one.
Oh. Okay.
I might have some of I honestly might have some of those rads. Hook me up with a list of the books that
I've never heard of these.
I'll look for them. I got a package coming your way anyway, so.
So, Stepper, I don't know. I'm sure you know about this book, but we kind of came to the conclusion about a week or 2 ago. So I was I've talked to Bleecker about this at TM, I know, ad nauseum, but what's the first Frankenstein, right? And I think
Right.
we've kind of came to the conclusion that it's like Prize 7 or something, the first Green
Prize
Lantern.
Comics number 7, correct.
That's the consensus.
I think that's going to be what I determine is first Frankenstein from now on. Now, am I off base, or is everybody?
No,
else?
I am unaware of anything that predates that.
Okay.
Is that Frankenstein the weird one with the weird face, though? Or is it Frankenstein, the classic monster Frankenstein?
Dude, it's such a good box art, too, dude. If you see him in this little box art thing, oh, so good.
Jay Hood, you supervise Supercar? I mean, the brand? They have those wood models that they paint and varnish and everything. They're beautiful as far as scale models. They're expensive, though. I mean, they're carved wood. They're amazing. But I have the Johnny Lightning, and I had the stinking Remco. That was a piece of junk plastic that out of scale, wrong colors and everything else. And those are expensive, cheesy toys even today. Good for you. That's the baby.
I don't know how to zoom in on it, but this little box art, hold on, you might be able to see my arrow. But like right here, oh man, I love it. It looks just like this head right here.
Yes, that's it exactly. That's it precisely. I saw 3.5 for $6,500, Big.
Oh my goodness! I hope you and Alan get one of these because I don't know.
No, that's Alan's. That's Alan's the first appearance guru. I am not so brittle. If I have 6,500, I am not going to spend it on the first Frankenstein and the first Green Llama.
Right.
They are further down the list. It would be that would probably be 3 or 4 books, nice books, either Timely's or some other variety of something. Maybe even a Batman or another Superman, an early Superman. Maybe one of the ones with him breaking chains, one of the yellow covers for the early Supermans, which are beautiful.
Yeah, I like number 5 now. The one where he's breaking the jail cell.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's so pretty.
No, Schuster couldn't keep up with it, and you'll notice that the logo, the font on the logo, he drew the logo each time until they standardized on the Superman script. And even in the stories, he would still have it where he would actually draw the Superman kind of roundy, puffy kind of numerals and stuff, if you look at it. But Schuster's stuff is very, very good. They had great ghost artists too. They had quite a few. John Sikela, and Wayne Boring. They had several different guys that could ape his style quite well.
Did that wrong. What up, dude? You been doing all right, man?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out.
Cool.
Wife's birthday today, so she's out with her mom, so I'm just hanging out until she returns.
Now, you see what I mean? You look at that one, the one you just showed, you can see that the logo, the trade dress, is the hand-drawn one by Schuster.
Oh, I'll show a bigger example. Shit, I didn't mean to do that.
You manage Johnny Lightning, but also AMT and MPC models. Fascinating. I managed to secure. I found the molds for the USS Oregon were found by AMT Ertl and a guy Tony something or another in Massachusetts was going to make the battleship Massachusetts, but they basically went ahead and they made it USS Oregon instead.
Boom, baby.
There we go.
I'll show you the ropes.
Not
Show you the ropes.
Get it.
People that.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
All the parts you need at prices you want. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. People.
Hey, guaranteed to fit.
Welcome, new recruit, to the Justice League Information
Shut up
Database.
at all, eBay. Jesus. All right. Superman Summer.
That's a nice cover.
Yeah, I think this is the best one out of the first 10.
It's outstanding. But you see this? You see the kind of the crude Superman trade dress?
God, yeah, that's so good. Look at that.
I love it. And when it standardizes to the ones that we had for forever, it's I just think there is a charm and he's not as super powered back then, and so he actually could get knocked around or knocked down and things like that. And a less powerful hero can be more heroic than a guy that can't be hurt. That's my idea. How are you, Who Dad?
Good, good. How you doing?
Very good. Nice to see you.
Yeah, not a lot of Superman headers look like that. Now that I think about it.
No, the early ones, but the stories, the splash pages, when they standardized the title on the trade dress on the outside, the interior stories still will have the older for a while. Still have the older style of trade dress for the splash page. It's very interesting how that stuff all kind of, they didn't. It wasn't like they were trying to make some idea. They would change it as they went or streamline it and make it better and stuff like that. But the cruder look, the old Superman face, he looks kind of rough and tough rather than the sculpted, beautiful, Kurt Swan and some of these other Plastino. Not so much Plastino. Boring's had big roundy eyeballs, but yeah, cool stuff. Schaffenberger.
I remember when I first saw this the other day. It must have been a while since I looked at number 5, but I felt like it might be an Australian or something. I was just like, that don't look right, And sure enough, that's the cover. So, yeah, the 1 through 9s. There's the second one where he's carrying a baby like a football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty good too. But I think that's
but the thing about that's interesting is if you look at that cover, that's issue number 3, I think. If you look at Action number 3 or Superman 3, I can't remember. No, Action, it would be Superman 3.
Okay.
They have the kid looks like a cartoony little kid, but Superman looks like Superman, and they got that streamlined passenger train going down, the Super Chief going down underneath them. That's a great cover, and also the brilliant yellow cover on that. Yeah, Killer Diller.
See what it looks like.
I will be reviewing that book, Step Up.
What?
Which one which one are you reviewing?
That book that is shown. Like, if you look at my screen right quick, you'll see that I have. Yeah, I'll be reviewing that issue at some point because I'm going to go through this entire book.
Very cool.
So cool. It has that Superman 5 inside of it. So I'm going to be. I want to read all of these books because it's from the earlier ages, like 1940 to 1942 and stuff. And I want to do each issue and review it and put it up on my channel. That's probably going to be my channel going forward. Is just reviews of older books.
Oh yeah. So here's the 3.
Yeah, I had to double check. I had to double check to see if that was in that.
See, that's the one that is the train is so of the time. I mean, that's the streamliners that they had, and a great shot of Superman with his old face. The old face, he's a little bit. He looks older. He has less hair. He's not as slick. I like that. Mm-hmm. I like that the S kind of changes on his chest quite a bit depending on how they could draw it because all of them had trouble drawing it. But the kid has that goofy looking face, goofy cartoony late 30s, early 40s face on. I mean, the kid is cartoon, and Superman isn't. He looks like Superman.
Yeah, the barrel chest. That's a beautiful book. I think TJ has Superman 3, actually.
I thought it's funny. I follow this guy called the Box Office Artist, and he's a big Marvel artist. He did a lot of stuff for Transformers and stuff. And he started with DC Comics, and he was drawing Justice League and a lot of Wonder Woman. But he came in to do Superman, and it was the very first time he ever got rejected. DC did not like the way that he did his face, and so they have DC has a certain way that they really, really, really want you to draw his face. Or what he said they did, they completely cut out every face he did of Superman in his book and had another artist come in and redraw that face over the top of his art. So, they're super strict on the way Superman looks.
He can commiserate with Steranko.
So is this bigger than 1 and 3?
What, book 2?
It's 64 pages.
No, 64 is the standard size.
Okay. All right.
Do you know the interesting thing about that book, Superman in particular? 1 through 3 are all reprints, and 1 was never meant to be a number 1. It was just meant to be an annual, and they reprinted it like 3 or 4 times. They had 3 or 4 print runs for that.
Yeah,
book.
it came with like coupon offers in some books, I think, or some shit. Yeah.
And
Superman
so
1.
when you get to issue 4, the first half of the book is reprints, but the second half of the book are not. And the first Luthor story is in Superman 4, and he's redheaded and everything else.
Is 4 the first original story?
4 has the first in Superman, because they were reprinting the actions, but so 4 has the first original Superman in Superman.
That's interesting.
But the annual, they wanted to capitalize when they put out Superman, which has turned into Superman #1. They put that out as sort of like an annual. Literally, it was like an annual where they reprinted, because in action you only got one Superman story, and then you got a whole bunch of Zatara and all these other guys that are in there with that action with too, and a lot of cop stuff and cowboys and all manner of. I mean, it was a true anthology. But then with Superman getting his own title, the first to get his own title specifically to him, they basically then they were able to put an entire book of Superman stories, and they caught up with all the Superman stories, all the way up that point in action. And then in 4, then you were having all original in both, which is pretty cool. They never used Batman and Superman in the Justice Society, the JSA, in All-Star. I think they only appeared once, both of them together, and they implied that they were part of the team, but they were also part of Gaines's All-American Comics, and DC kept them separate. Donenfeld or whoever kept them separate. They were sisters under the skin, like Ford and Mercury. But Superman and Batman, the All-Stars are all the ones, the All-American characters, which a great second tier of characters with Flash, Green Lantern, Hawkman, Wonder Woman. Alan says that Wonder Woman, I'll ask you guys, is Wonder Woman, when you say the top 3 characters, the top 2 characters I think are Superman and Batman, because everything flowed from them. But they put Wonder Woman up in there in the same ranking as Superman and Batman. Do you agree?
I think Flash should be 3, but that's just me. But
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be sexist. I know they're probably just trying to add another female to help girls have a representation. But
There's
I
two.
think Flash. I feel like Flash just has more of a following. I don't know.
Go ahead, Tim.
He has more of a rogues gallery, a better rogues gallery for sure. Because like Wonder Woman's strong and like a great character in that, but like not a lot of people know her rogues gallery like they know Flash's. And Flash is super smart. He added time travel to the mix and stuff. So yeah, like you need kind of like I feel like you need a speedster for the top 3.
I
agree, Brad.
I think it goes 2, then 3, then 5, then 6, because I think that the first 2 are Batman, Superman, and then if you go Holy Trinity, you do add Wonder Woman. But after that, it's Flash and Green Lantern, and then if you want one more, I would go. You can go
Hawkman.
2 more.
Hawkman for sure.
Hawkman and
Green,
Hawkman and
yeah, Green Lantern is up there. He's up there with Flash.
I'm not talking necessarily Silver. I'm talking Golden Age when you're talking about as they were conceived. The entire All-American run, guys. You have Wildcat, Mr. Terrific. You have then you have the Green Lantern. You have Wonder Woman. You have Hawkman and Flash. They have a very, very strong, and they had a lot of these Hop Harrigan and jazz like that. But in Sargon, they all had magical guys too. But the thing was that I always looked at it watching it is that Wonder Woman has her place. I don't know if her circulation was as high as Batman and Superman and Batman and Robin, if you will. But those books, because I would think that the Flash and Green Lantern and of course Flash has both Hawkman and Flash, which is the first time you had 2 main heroes. and they were alternating covers right from the start, which is, and I think that the Shelley Moldoff covers of Flash, as you know, I mean, I really do like those covers. I love the Moldoff covers for that. He was great all the way into this in with Batman and all that stuff until Infantino basically took over for Batman. And as much as I dearly love my favorite character in DC for the Silver Age is definitely Flash, but watching Infantino draw Batman, I didn't like it as much as I liked Moldoff. I liked the older kind of old school looking, and didn't have the big yellow bullseye on his chest. They try to dress him up rather than darken him up a little bit.
And Wonder Woman in the Golden Age, she was more with Marston behind it and stuff. Like he was really into bondage. We'll just say that.
And the whole thing.
I'll say this though. I'll say this: Superman had what Action Comics and Superman title. Batman had Batman
and World's Finest.
Well, yeah, what they combined with the World's Finest, correct? Wonder Woman had Wonder Woman and Sensation Comics, so it's like no. I would.
And All Star.
Yeah,
and Comic Cavalcade. And Comic Cavalcade.
It's not that many. Characters had that many titles.
No, they didn't. She was popular.
She sold well. So at that period, if we're talking about that period, not Silver Age, not modern, I would say Wonder Woman would be the top three in my opinion.
Easily,
fair enough. I agree with you.
The popularity, the sales, it's just so many things. Like you literally, it's not many female. I'm trying to think. But Steppo would know better than me.
He's the first.
What other female characters had that many titles? Like
no one did. None of them did. They tried to bring him in. They tried with Namora. They tried with Sun Girl. They tried with a lot of them tried to have females that were Catwoman was popular, but as a villain. But Black Cat was probably one of the ones that was in there too. But Wonder Woman was the top.
Yeah, so that's the only reason I would say I would leave her in the top three. But
all right, because you say so, I will. But if Alan asks me, I'll say no.
This book's an interesting book. You don't get one first appearance; you get two.
Yes,
and they're pretty big ones. I mean, there's more than that. There's the Whip, and I think they're Johnny Thunder, maybe. But yeah, this is a big book. What do you think of 1.0? Flash probably about 60K.
No,
I think that somewhere in that vicinity, depending on how the book looks.
Yeah.
The buy-in for Flash Comics is a very important book. It really is. I almost think that is the first all-American book. I take it back. All-American Comics, I think, would have been first, and it took until they got up to number 16 to bring the Green Lantern in. But the Flash number 1 starts out with Flash and then Hawkman. And if you've read any of the stories, the Flash, the early Flash, this one, Jay Garrick, he would talk a lot and be a detective and think about it, and then he would have very few panels of him running. I mean, they didn't really go E.E. Hibbard would not give you as many racing scenes as you wanted. Whereas with Hawkman, Moldoff was a much more dynamic artist. Even his covers showed a lot more movement and a lot more effort. You look at this cover here, there's just not a hell of a lot to it. But when you look at the Hawkman covers, especially how he would draw the wings and the body positioning of Moldoff and how he would put him in there. One of the things I always found very interesting with Flash Comics is that the 10-cent and then the logo, or the DC All-American logo, whichever, would be down underneath the F. In other words, they wouldn't put it up in the top right-hand corner because they wanted their H of Flash to be up in the corner. I thought there's sort of interesting things you'll see. Johnny Thunder was doing a bunch of junk. And then of course he got the Thunderbolt, And the way that they always started it very random, because if he said "say you" and if it's like CEI-U, with some ancient Egyptian or whatever it was phrase that would release the thunderbolt, to then he would do
Oh,
what you want him to do. And so, but he never could, Johnny Thunder at first could not figure out what it was he was saying to make the thunderbolt appear when he would want it to, and then he couldn't, because he didn't know what he said. And or else say, you know what that is, and then the thunderbolt would appear, and he never finally made the connection of what it was for how the thunderbolt would be called in.
damn. Okay. Flash number freaking 1, man. That female art ain't terrible. It's okay, you know. It ain't a bunch of cleavage, but she looks pretty good.
Oh yeah.
The Hawkman, oh my god, that's tremendous. Over there in that little circle art. Oh, that's so beautiful. I don't know if this book's known for being a fancy cover, but I enjoy it a lot. Not a lot of people look at him catching a bullet too. That's very, very cool. Like you just grabbing the bullet. So hell yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a good. It's a one of the. It's a big book. It's a little bit further down in the top 10, but when you're buying a Flash comic, I mean, as far as the money that's involved, there are various other books that will follow in that. For example, some of the early Morphons with Spectre and things like that. The early Spectre covers are pretty sick covers.
Now
that header on that Flash too is really good too, with the the electricity coming off of the Flash. Yeah, that's cool.
Now, if I'm possibly looking for a Lou Fine cover, I'm starting to see that like Smash and what's the other one? The maybe Feature Comics might be the cheapest way to go. What's the cheapest way to go to get like a 40s Lou Fine Steppo? Do you have any idea?
Well, I know that Fine worked in various things. Hit Comics, not that Swordfish cover, for example. That's the one that is a really big book on that. But there are some other. I think Hit 1 has the Red Bee, and I don't think that Hit 1 is all that expensive in the greater scheme of things. But I would basically just, if you have a photo journal, or if you just want to go on to Go Collect and just click next cover, or Grand Collector's Comic Database, see the covers that you want, then do some pricing, and then depending on which one because there's a lot of interesting Lou Fine covers. Mm-hmm. But Hit has several really good ones.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want a Fox feature. I don't know how many he did.
Well, the Fantastics are always pretty expensive, especially 3, which is really super hard to get.
Oh, that one's crazy, yeah.
I think that Crack has more Crandall art in their covers than.
I think Mystery Men might be a Fox syndicate.
It is.
Yeah. I don't know how many lines they got or titles.
I think National is also Lou Fine. Unless I'm wrong.
No, you're right. First Uncle Sam's Lou Fine cover.
See, now those are really. I don't think that National gets the love it deserves. And if you like an Uncle Sam motif.
Yeah. Stars and Stripes, Nationals. Oh my gosh, so pretty. I like this Green Mask guy too, man. I think he's kind of cool.
Those don't bring as. I think the number 1 is expensive, but the higher numbers. But I think you have to look at the cover content to see what they're offering if it moves you. You know, if you're gonna give up that kind of coin, it behooves you to get one that you love. Don't just get a copy. Get one that you like the cover image.
I'm pretty modest. As long as I get one, I'm like, yes, I got it.
Okay.
I'll take
I dig.
the tip. Yeah, but yeah, I hear you, man. Hopefully I get the best one I can.
Hey,
Matt.
I found something from 5 years ago, Biggie.
Uh-oh.
We're cleaning the house, throwing away a lot of stuff. I saw a box, and I said, "Oh man, I forgot a Oneness when they were doing their mystery boxes." So, yeah.
Oh hell yeah! From Man of Steel,
Yeah.
Oh,
Father of Superman.
that's
I think it's I don't know if it has a date on it, 1/22/13.
Is that the Russell Crowe character?
Yeah,
Nice.
that's badass. Those suits were so cool.
yeah.
The hand moves, the gun
That's
moves.
the best scene of the movie to me.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
This
That's
thing's
so
heavy.
cool.
This thing's heavy too.
I can believe it.
That cape
Yeah.
was cool.
Cape.
Yeah.
I said, I see why I had it in a box. I have nowhere to put this big ass thing. Yeah. So,
It'll hold the
talked
books
about
down
that.
on the top of the left. On your right, the books at the very top.
just-
If you put them
I
up there,
just
it'll hold
keep-
them down.
I keep it right here in case somebody breaks in. I just pick it up and bang.
There you go. So at the last Yaniv auction on Allen's, I was pretty proud of my boy Legend because I don't know. I'm sure Yaniv knew, and it was quite expensive. It wasn't a cheap book, but Legend pointed out that it was the first appearance of the Ray in that Smash Comics. I think it's like 13 or 14 or 16. And he got the first Ray because he's trying to get all the freedom fighters, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Who that?
Marvel, Topps Chrome Marvel. This is Kingpin. It's hard to see. It's that black spiderweb cover on camera.
Like, yeah,
Oh,
it looks
I
like
see it. Yeah, I saw it.
It looks
Number
like he's venomized almost.
Yeah, I like the black. I wish it was lower number, but it's numbered to $3.99. Then I got this one in. This actually go good with the first appearance I got. So Sunfire. This
Ooh, I
is,
like that one.
Kind of chrome. This is from 2024.
Is Sunfire considered the first Asian anything? Isn't he something? The first Asian or something?
No, I can tell you that the Crimson Avengers sidekick was a character called Wing, who spoke Chinese, that spoke in Pidgin English, but also if you're talking about Green Hornet, you got to talk about Kato.
I was wondering mutant though. Maybe he's first mutant Asian. But then I thought Psylocke, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought I
Smash
heard that
14.
somewhere.
Fair enough.
Well, I know Sunfire came up before Psylocke.
Okay.
Maybe he
Sunfire
was. I don't know.
1970, 19. I got the
I
book
think-
right here.
I think Boomer is the first Native American mutant.
Interesting.
I think Sunfire might be the first Asian.
I'm not sure. Can't say I know that one. Asian what?
I don't know. Mutant.
Yeah. Oh,
My facts are loose.
That's pretty loose, dude. That's like seemed pretty modern too.
No, well, like Kudat said, Sunspot was like in the 80s, created in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Sorry,
man.
my,
Oh, we got
my computer
Sunfire,
two
yeah.
crashed. Sorry.
There's Sunfire and Sunspot get confused a lot.
Sunfire and Sunspot.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
almost
said
got that-
Sunspot, didn't I?
I almost got that Butterfly, the first, I think, African American superhero in that magazine.
Oh yes.
Hell Rider #1, I believe. The magazine, yeah. I almost got that because it was priced so fucking good. It was like $60. It was a decent copy.
They didn't know what they had, obviously.
I don't think they did because it's usually about a couple $100 in decent shape. Dude, I'll tell you a book I always wanted to is that Tank Girl, that Deadline. I don't know if it's #1 or like later or something, but MJ found a copy and he was like, "Oh, they didn't know it was worth $150." I'm like, "Try 500 or 700, bro. Like, what do you mean 150? You can't get that damn book for $150." First
No.
Tank Girl?
No, First Tank Girl's an expensive book.
That's crazy expensive. It's like 500 cheapest you can get one. And
They didn't know what they had. I mean, the print run was small, and I don't think the survival rate's very high at all for that.
Obviously, MJ didn't know what he had either.
I told him in the
I
comments.
feel bad because I've never watched Chain Girl.
Oh, dude, I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, it's one of those guilty pleasures, man.
Oh, definitely it's a guilty pleasure.
It's a crap.
I don't know
Yeah.
how I
Good
missed
crap
it.
movie.
I missed it somehow.
It'll find you.
I had a buddy that had an 8.5, like an 8.0. I don't know if you remember this, who that. But my boy 84, he had like an 8.0, 8.5 first tank girl, and he was going to try to bump it up and get like a 9 or something out of it. Smashed the corner of it. That black.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Owie.
Oh yeah.
I had that.
I don't have any. I heard that Alex Ross is doing new timeless variants.
Yeah.
yeah, he is.
I love that
Um,
book, dude. I think that book's so cool.
Steppo, before I forget again, have you ever read the Dark Horse Presents 51?
I'm certain I have. What's in it again?
It's the Sin City story.
Yeah, I have. I actually have. I have something. Sin City that I think is sort of interesting. I'll pull it.
Yeah, let's see. We're in Sin City mode this week because of TM. He switched it off of the DC characters nuking people.
The Identity Crisis. Yeah.
To Sin City.
Oh, you got to zoom in on that one up there. That's your first cover.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I thought you were just talking about the boobies. Yeah. I got me a copy of that. I love it. Look at all that original art, dude. You're crushing it, bro. All the different styles.
Brad is so cool.
Doing. Dude, you're going to win fucking Artist of the Year, bro.
You should. Yeah.
I
You're gonna
don't.
win that shit.
I am surprised.
Aaron, do you do art? Aaron, do you do art?
I am surprised that you are not like signed on with somebody. Like somebody's not like been like, oh, I love that cover, and been like, hey, like, can you draw a cover for us, or can you do a little bit of this for a comic book, or something like? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be go beyond.
Murder King right now, there, Mister. He's signed up to Murder King for a moment.
What you got, Stepper? You got some.
So what happened? What happens is this: my Dark Horse Comics had a sort of the horse motif, and the first incarnation of their bookstores they called them Pegasus Books. Was the store, and then Mike Richardson decided that he was going to change the thing to Things from Another World. I never thought that was a wise. Pegasus was well known. It's a better name by far, and it's a horse motif, a dark horse kind of thing. But anyway, it was Pegasus before it was the store, and when they started Sin City, Frank would go around to some of the stores when they were first coming out with Sin City to basically sign copies of it, and they did a promotional piece that was that sat on the countertops. And my buddy, who was a dealer back then, said, he said, I kept this. I don't know if it's something that you would be interested in. I said, sure. So this was the original advertising piece that was on the countertop to announce that he would be coming. And the date on this is 1983, I think. Yes, 1993. Sin City, 1993, Frank Miller, all rights reserved. But Frank would come by and sign a bunch of stuff. You bring your Sin City books in, he would sign them. But it's an interesting piece to just have. And so I have this one. So, I mean, I put together a long run of Dark Horse, and and of course, Boris the Bear #1 was a huge book for Dark Horse Presents. It made a lot of money. He was a very, very popular character playing off of the Turtles. And he's killing all the superhero villain or the superhero characters. Boris did, basically as a parody. And Jim Smith did a great job on it. And Boris was, it was a big part of their mix, along with Dark Horse Presents. Chris, what is his name? He was a big deal artist for Dark Horse. Chris something. I can't remember his name. But anyway, it's mounted on foam core, so that then they had it just stuck up there where people could see, and then they all showed up for him to be signing copies on January 20th. So,
Yeah, I'll show you all the books. I've been kind of.
Yeah, that is awesome.
look at. Excuse me, Chan.
That's pretty cool. I have North Bear like 1 through 40 too. By the way, whatever
I'm
it
a
is.
big Frank Miller fan. I think he's great. Great creator.
Like that Buscema. Very well done.
Classic.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I didn't know I loved it so much till I got it. It's a little hot little bitty.
I really like Silvestri's version on Wolverine.
Yeah, I had the Conan.
But of course, the original Frazetta is beautiful.
I had to get me some Frank Miller. I don't have much banger. It's pretty good Frank Miller cover, I guess. It's not the best one.
Kira is one of my favorites, and it's got a movie in the works, so that book's value should go up.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love this book right here. It's pretty sweet. Reprinted $2.99.
Is it going to be live action?
Yeah.
What up, Stepper?
If you guys are out at your various bookstores and stuff, here's one that you might want to look for. This is the retailer incentive of Sin City: The Hard Goodbye, hardcover, and this was given as a thank you to the vendors.
Wow.
It says here, thank you on behalf of Frank Miller and Dark Horse Comics. I want to personally thank you, the comics retailer, for your strong support of Sin City throughout these last 15 years. And I'd like to extend this special hardcover edition of the Hard Goodbye as a token of our gratitude, signed Mike Richardson from Dark Horse Comics. So these are they were I think only to one retailer each, and it's the whole collected story of the Hard Goodbye.
Didn't Frank Miller do a spectacular that used to be kind of a key? First Frank Miller on Spectacular.
Daredevil. I think it was Daredevil.
Oh, that's
guy. It's the guy by the tombstone or something coming up. The Phantom or whatever the hell that guy is.
I thought that was Zek. No, I remember when I first started collecting that there was a Spectacular. It's a red cover. It's kind of got like circles around it. And I think that's the first Frank Miller Spectacular. It kind of got a little more respect back then than it does now. It's pretty affordable. So I'm probably gonna get it eventually. But that's dope. I never seen like a whatever you call it, bind normal ass book for a retailer.
I think Frank Miller's always had that director's eye, where like a director can make a movie look a certain way. Like Frank Miller's just always wanted his stories to look a certain way, and like he might not be like the best at making one single painting, but at one giant art, like a movie or a whole novel or the whole book as one, it comes together as one really nice piece.
Biggie, after you're done, I got one thing to show.
Okay, no problem, man. So I'll show you all. This is the book I'm talking about. This is Frank Miller's first Spider-Man on Spectacular, not a super key. But I remember just when I first started collecting, being like, oh shit, I wish I could run across that. And yeah, it's a great cover. Like, I think you can get it for like $10 or $15 now. It used to be a little bit more tougher, I'd say. But yeah, pretty cool. Frank Miller did the pencils. Never have got that bad boy, but I'll show the rest of mine real quick. I got The Dicks by Garth Ennis. Some reason my shop thought this was important. I said, no, not too important. Mortal Kombat.
Garth Ennis is amazing. He's one of my top favorites.
Look at that cover.
Yeah.
That cover is beautiful, man.
To get the very first one, it's like a mail-in.
I think it's ugly art. That's why I never bought it. Back in the 90s, I was a huge Mortal Kombat fan, but I hated those comics. I was like, that art is horrible.
You don't like that cover?
I was comparing, at that time, I was comparing it to Spawn. If you look at Spawn and then you turn around, you look at that, and I'm like, this ain't even close. This looks like crap. The video game's way better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that cover. There you go.
Just at the
Spawn right in
time,
the back.
Yeah, but now it brings back nostalgic memories.
There's a little Kirby FF.
Ooh.
Like the big play. Here is Rad's cover.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, sir. And then I got a
and there are some actual cool covers for Mortal Kombat. Like I know Dustin that's on with you guys on the hunt. I know he has a lot of those Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, he does.
Books.
The gold one and everything. Who did this cover? I forget.
Beasley.
Beasley, yeah. Simon Beasley. And then this is a nice little origin Superman.
There you go.
Yeah, Rocket Baby. Rocket Baby! Just some of the books I got kind of recently.
All right. So you guys were talking about retailer books incentives and stuff, like thank you ones. I haven't opened this up, like it's still in the wrapper and that, but I got this, which is the Umbrella Academy, the retailer thank you variant.
Oh shit.
So I'm wondering, since Stepho showed that one, I wonder if there's like a thank you letter in this as well. Because it's still sealed up. I haven't opened it up in that because I've read the story. I just got this because my shop had it. And I think it was during Comics Curing Cancer. I ended up winning it. I bid on it and I won it for like $20. So
that kind of makes me wonder about my Something is Killing the Children. It's still sealed and it was San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Yeah, retailers thank you.
I don't ever see these fucking things. I never see either one of them.
I wonder if it has a letter in it.
Looks like it's
I'm not going to unseal it. I'm leaving it sealed.
Yeah, of course. Why would you unseal it? I don't blame you.
Yeah, because I've read the story. Like, I love the Umbrella Academy. Like, once the show came out, like the first season, I was like, okay, I need to read the comic books. I got all the comic books. Of course, the show surpassed the comics, and now the comic book is back now. Like, they're coming. Gerard Way has come back out with the Umbrella Academy, and I'm super excited.
Doesn't Gerard Way have another book that's coming out or is real popular right now? I thought I heard something about him.
Not that I know of. I know that he used to have like his imprint over at DC. What was it, Young Animal? But I don't think he has that anymore. Like he used to come out with, like he did the Doom Patrol for a while, like right after Grant Morrison. I don't know if he has a book. I could be wrong though. You might be onto something. If he does, I'm not. I have to look it up. So I like Gerard Way's writing.
Yeah, I think he might. I think he might have a project in the works. It was with somebody popular. I just can't remember.
Oh, look at
There's so much information coming out these days. It's hard to remember everything.
Oh, dude, Rad. Well, I got you here. I know you said it was all right, but like you started watching Twisted Metal, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch the 5th episode?
I finished episode 3, so I still have 4, 5, 6 is out.
No, 4 and 5. They're releasing it. They're releasing 2 a week. So we got 2 this week, 2 next week, and then the final 3 will all drop at the same time. We get 2 extra episodes this year.
Okay.
I'll just say this.
It was getting better, and it was getting better as it went.
All right, I'm just going to say this. There's one part in episode 5 where it'll revert you just because of the action scene and the music that's playing. It'll revert. I don't know how old you were when you were playing these games, I was 8 years old when I started playing these games, and it reverted me to feeling like that 8-year-old kid watching this scene. I was like, oh my god, it was so good.
Nice.
Dan Parent. This was drawn by Dan Parent by some guy named Bleeker, who gave it to me as an AOK.
AOK, yeah. Dan Parent. He's pretty he's a pretty popular guy for commissions.
For Archie, yeah, he isn't horribly expensive, and he does a nice job. But he operates within, as Bleak will tell you, you ask for certain things, he says, I gotcha, and then you get what you're going to get. I mean, he said, well, I want less and more, and I want this and that. He says, you've got it, and then you get what you get. But it's good. It's a really nice piece too.
It is very well done.
Yeah, I love Dan Parent's art on like current Archie stuff because it's just it looks like the old stuff. Like he but new. I don't know.
I met this guy at my LCS the other day, Dan Mazur. He did this really pretty big book of about Will Eisner, everything Will Eisner did. You know.
Yeah, Will Eisner's a big deal, huh?
Yeah, but it's a graphic novel, you know.
I don't think we've talked about Will Eisner enough in comic YouTube. You know, like he's supposedly like the biggest influence there is, according to some people. You know?
Well, yeah. The whole awards named after him, the Eisner Awards.
Mm.
Drew. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not super into his stuff as much as I should be, I guess. I don't know that much about him. He like in control of DC or something? No, what did he do? I don't know.
He created the Spirit.
Oh, okay.
That's all I know about him.
Quality Comics.
Okay. I feel like he had some good underlings, like good people.
Didn't he work at Disney as well?
Disney? I think so. Yeah, I'd have to do
He was all over. He was very much in demand. Eisner Iger House of Art. Would you say mostly Iger, but it was Eisner Iger, and they produced a lot of this stuff. Hey, Aaron, are you drawing Harley Quinn, or who are you drawing now?
Yes, I'm drawing a Harley Quinn.
He's drawing me as a woman.
I am drawing TM as a woman.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty big sketch.
It is big, yeah.
Oh, is that classic too? Classic Harley? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, my buddy just got a 9.8. Doc got a 9.8 of that Harley. Pretty good one to have.
It's pretty. I just have to say it's pretty bad that I said, oh, is it classic Harley when thinking like Harley came out like really long ago. It came out in the 90s.
Yeah, it's Golden Age Harley. You know, there was characters named Harley Quinn before Harley Quinn. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I do have some of that character when
Harlequin. He was with Flash.
Yeah, he was because back then there was like a Joker had a kid and it was Harlequin, and he was kind of good. A little bit.
Yeah,
my understanding.
The first Harlequin was a female villain with the Flash and an erstwhile romantic interest rather than Joan What's-Her-Nuts. I can't remember. No, Green Lantern. I think she was a Green Lantern foil. That's it. Harlequin.
Oh, yeah.
Found these at work last night.
I just remember the one that ended up like around like the Teen Titans era.
Oh yeah.
He was like a male. I could be wrong.
I had to buy a power cord for it. And
yeah, they don't have no cords, but I could order some.
Okay. Yeah, I got the power cord and it works and shit, but it's just for Super Mario, so I just kind of let it sit there. But it's nice to have one. Yeah, we just got 64 on ours.
This just came from Aaron.
Oh, nice. You got it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dog looks good too. Yeah, everything looks good.
All right.
And then along with it, he sent me this one.
Oh, white Chihuahua. I think I like that one better.
I like that one too.
I was wrong. The Harlequin I'm talking about is also female, but her name was Dula Dent.
I think there was 2 or 3 Harley Quinns. Like,
yeah, Harlequins. Yeah, I did look it up, and Steppo's right. It was the Green Lantern, the original Harlequin. But the one I'm thinking of is a different one. It was Dula Dent, and
So that Harvey Dent's daughter, Two-Face's daughter.
I think the first Harvey Dent's in like a 25 cent or 2. It's not too terrible hard to get, but I could be wrong. And he might be an old character. When did Harvey
Two-Face was Golden Age.
Maybe I'm thinking of Commissioner. There's one character, I think since maybe it's just a bronze first appearance, I bet. Yeah. Anywho, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. It's been a couple hours. Make sure you go to church. Bleeker's got his memberships on, so member up, guys. Get your members in.
Get your members in. Okay, whatever you say.
Yeah.
Hashtag member up.
We're looking forward to Ian Shack's 15 book War Machine style battle he's going to have with Alan.
Yeah.
We have Alan had an interview with Brian LCS today.
Yes.
Which is already playing, and then of course we've got the auction coming up with Yaniv, and I think maybe somebody else too, a couple others. And Alan asked if they could have some that are more reasonably priced, so that perhaps some of the people who aren't loaded can actually find something nice that they may not know about. So if you are so inclined, it's always good eye candy what you can see as far as what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the funnest part was when he was going through his raws. It was like, oh my goodness. It was like zoom, 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 zoom all through his raws. But yeah, he had some cool stuff. Yeah.
Oh, Matt says it will be just Yaniv tonight. I guess the other person he wanted to have come or persons evidently that didn't happen. So.
Yeah, Matt's pretty dialed in with the Allen news. If he says it's probably almost right on.
It's good that somebody is, you know.
Yeah, man. So that's about it. Thank you guys for coming. Have a good
Nice
Saturday.
To see everyone.
Yep. We're going to get on out of here. See y'all soon enough. Tomorrow morning. Hashtag enjoy.
Big Biggie. Biggie.